It is.
Someone won those 2 Super Bowls.
Of people entered the first ever First Take Your Take contest, but there could only be 2 winners. One of our winners joins us now. She's a diehard Cowboys fan who was born and raised in Dallas, but has spent the last 13 years in New York City. I am so excited to welcome the beautiful, talented Crystal Stone to the desk. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Molly.
Welcome, welcome. How are you?
I'm all right, Stephen A. How are you doing?
Excuse me, Max, I want to interject. You're a Cowboys fan, right?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'll be fine. With Dak Prescott leading the team, I'll be just fine.
No. We'll see. We'll see if he's leading the team. According to Coach, maybe not.
According to Coach, maybe not. According to Coach, all right. She's ready.
She seems to be in the perfect spot.
I was just seeing the feeling out.
Yeah.
She seems ready. Okay, go ahead.
Live in New York now, ready to jettison the Cowboys for a team that sometimes wins the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely not. That's what he does.
Football Giants.
That's what he does. He flips from team to team.
Already fired.
Bandwagon to bandwagon. No, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, and that's where I'm going to stay. Thank you very much.
All right, let's get into Crystal's favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. Ready, people?
Yes.
So the #1 question for their team right now is what's next for Tony Romo. NFL.com's Ian Rappaport reported on Sunday that Denver would be his choice of a landing spot, but the Broncos are not inclined to trade for him at the moment. Jerry Jones just saying on his radio show he's not ready to talk Romo. Crystal, should Romo be with the team next season?
I think Romo should be with the team next season. Just based on what you just said, the Broncos aren't inclined to trade him, and that's really his best option because it's a Super Bowl contending team ready. I think he should stay with the team because if you look at the Cowboys, what has plagued us for the last 10 years? When Romo gets hurt, the Cowboys lose.
Good point.
Now, in 2015, that was the best example. 3 backup quarterbacks only managed to win 1 of those games. So if we have now we have Dak Prescott, and he was a blessing to the team. Yes, we were lucky to get him. But if something were to drastically happen to Dak Prescott, heaven forbid he gets hurt, or I can't imagine this happening, but his play on the field declines, we need to have a reliable backup quarterback finally, and why not be Tony Romo? Now, you both have always said on this show that Tony Romo is an elite quarterback. He's one of the top 10 quarterbacks of the last decade. We can't be stuck with the likes of Mark Sanchez and Kellen Moore. We've seen what they've done with the team. Why don't we have the best insurance policy we could possibly have in Tony Romo and then see where we can go?
I like that point so much when I made it, like, repeatedly over the last several months. Such a great point. And here's the reason that you need to hold on to Romo. You're right. You have to hold on to Romo. He's a great insurance policy. He can't stay upright for more than 3 or 4 games. But hopefully with your backup quarterback, that's all you need. And if it happens in the playoffs, maybe you could mess around and still win a Super Bowl even if your starter goes down. But the real reason you need to keep him and spend all that money is because he's so expensive and because everyone knows he's injury prone. You can't get anything for him. I've been trying to tell people this. Oh, we're going to get a first-round pick and a You ain't getting any of that stuff.
They're going to get something for him.
Barely. They're going to get very, very little because whoever's taking that contract knows it's a huge amount of money for a player who is guaranteed to get hurt. And I'll even tell you where the injury will occur. Somewhere in his back. High, low, middle, whatever. The backbone's connected to the backbone.
Way to go out on a limb there.
He will get hurt, and you will be stuck paying a lot of money for a guy who can't play. That's why he has virtually no trade value, not the way people think he does, and that's why he should remain on the Cowboys.
How you doing, Crystal?
I'm good, Steve. Now, you've asked me that twice now.
I'm just checking because, it's interesting that you bring that up and you talked about Tony Romo being great and piggybacking off of Max Kellerman's comments. You may not have noticed he loses all the time, but that's a different subject for another day.
Delusional.
I guess what I'm trying to say is this. Tony Romo, are you aware of the fact that as a Cowboy fan that Tony Romo has been your starting quarterback since 2006?
Oh, no, I had no idea.
All right, since 2006. He's played in 6 playoff games. Do you know his playoff record? Because you implied that they lose when he gets hurt as opposed to them losing when he's actually on the field of play. Are you aware of the fact that in 6 playoff games, Tony Romo has a 2-4 record?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, in other words, he's got 2 playoff victories his entire career. That's spanning 10 years. And yet you will sit here and say, keep him. Even though you know as well as I do that your owner, Jerry Jones, is, the hype machine personified. You know as well as I do, Crystal, that this man is a distraction, that this man gets in the way, that this man should have fired himself as the GM and the president a long time ago and just be an owner, cut the check and move the hell out the way. And because he loves himself some Tony Romo, did it ever occur to you that keeping Tony Romo around could be the kind of distraction that lends itself towards finding its way to bring this team down, because I have proven yet again that what can go wrong with the Cowboys will.
Okay, so you talk about Jerry Jones. As a diehard Cowboys fan, I've always told my friends here in New York, because they're like, oh, get rid of Jerry Jones, get rid of Tony Romo. There's two facts, now just one, that we always live with. Jerry Jones is the owner and general manager until he dies. We have to live with that. That is never going to change.
Right.
And now, Tony Romo used to be the starting quarterback. Now we have Dak. Here's the thing. We're trying to get rid of Tony Romo, but we still need someone in the backup quarterback position. What I said before, what has plagued the Cowboys? When Tony Romo gets hurt, that's it.
Can't win a game.
He can't win a game. So, and is it tennis we're talking about? Or are we talking about football?
Football.
Okay, because tennis is a one-person sport, right? There's one person on the side that he's responsible for everything that happens on that court.
Right.
Football is a team sport. Right. And you've said on this show just last week that all of Tony Romo's faults are all the faults of the Cowboys, us not winning, the 2 playoff victories, do not all fall on Tony Romo.
Right.
You've admitted this.
Yeah.
Stephen Jones said the same thing in 2014. He said the only thing that's missing from Tony Romo's career, his legacy, is a Super Bowl win. And that does not sit in Tony Romo's lap. That sits in our lap. That sits in our family's lap, Jerry Jones, and they have to put the right people around him. He's admitted to that. Yeah. So it's not just Tony Romo's fault.
Very decent argument. I have no problem with what you're saying per se based on what you said. It's just more to it. Like, for example, you are right that all of the losses don't fall on Tony Romo. But that would happen to be because there's been so much losing that it can't possibly fall on one person. Because if Tony Romo just lost the 2-4 and that was that, and that's the only time that the Dallas Cowboys are losing, that would be a difference, Crystal. But the fact of the matter is that the Dallas Cowboys have been losing for 21 years. Since 1995, they have 2 playoff victories in 21 years. So, of course, it's not all his fault since he's only been there the last 10. There's 11 years that preceded that where they were losing then, too. It's not all on Tony Romo. I give you that. But there is no doubt that he has a lot to do with the ineptitude that has transpired during the postseason. Go ahead,
contrary
Max.
to what you said in the video leading to this segment, there is, in fact, a playoff Eli. There isn't a playoff Romo, and that may be the problem. You do have to elevate in the playoffs. And Romo's an excellent quarterback, but I can't say that he's a guy where when the playoffs begin, you're saying, okay, they got Romo, and we all know under pressure, Romo becomes a better player. In fact, Romo was the guy who couldn't hold on to the snap and then tried to run it in himself.
Max, to her point, it's better that it's an upgrade from having a Mark Sanchez.
Oh, clearly. You need a backup quarterback.
And let's not forget,
he's the best option. He's the best backup quarterback, essentially, in the NFL.
That's right.
May I say something?
That's why I say
You may. Thanks for asking so kindly.
Even though I had to get in there about the Romo, Crystal did make some good arguments.
Yeah, and another thing, you're saying that we've been losing. Actually, the Cowboys for the past 12 years are ranked 6th in regular season wins, and that's more than 26 other teams, including everyone else in the NFC East. So don't just say we're losing. Just don't say we're losing. We haven't won a Super Bowl. We haven't won a Super Bowl in 20 years.
NFL history with Super Bowl titles. Now we're talking about they're one of the 6 best regular season wins. Oh my God! So
there's more to the story than just say that we're losing. And talking about droughts, we're not the only team having a drought.
Oh, you're just like everybody else now.
Your team, your Steelers had a 26-year drought. What were you doing then, Steve? Were you in the streets crying, tearing your hair out then?
You know what he did? He claimed another team.
Yeah, exactly. He became a Packers.
You know what the Cowboys could use? Playoff Eli.
Oh, my gosh, no. Please, no.
They could use Terry Bradshaw.
Okay, we don't need anyone at the
We don't need any more interceptions.
Twitter followers to weigh in here. Should Tony Romo stay with the Cowboys? Vote yes or no, and we'll reveal those results a little later in Crystal's second segment with us. Looking forward to that. Great job.
Thank you.
Coming up, Carmelo Anthony made 2 buzzer beaters last night, but missed the one that counted. Are his days in New York numbered? The guys will let you know. And all the talk leading up